what is the difference between a good leader and a leader for good. My name is dei-tumi, President of Human Capital International, a company that is passionate about the potential of Africa. For the last 3 decades, we have conducted trainings in the areas of leadership and entrepreneurship development because we believe that Africa is the hope of the future. If we're a leader, an entrepreneur, and a young leader on the continent that believes that Africa is the hope of the future, let's make this our mission. Gently like this video, subscribe, and please share all videos that come on this channel. Let's grow Africa's future together because we believe Africa indeed is the hope of the future. As I mentioned, my name is Emmanuel. I'm from Ghana, and it's always a pleasure for me to have this opportunity to interact and to share a few things with people that we meet with. My passion is what I'm doing. I am a trainer by profession. My background is in psychology. My doctorate is in leadership, and so I love what I do. But above all, I see what I do as a ministry as well. So it's not just about just training. Everybody is a minister, so to speak. It's not just to be in a pulpit. So this is key for me. Today we are focusing on what creative leaders do better in times of economic turbulence. At the beginning of the year, you set yourself some goals, some objectives that you wanted to achieve. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you measure your growth in relation to your set objectives for the year, as at now? So today we are looking at the concept of strategic leadership. All of you have the destiny of other people in your hands. And I always say that if politicians in Africa would understand that they have the destinies of the generations that are in the country in their hands, they will be very careful the decisions they make. That is what strategic leadership is all about. Any human being that is privileged to occupy a position whereby you are making decisions on behalf of other people, or you are responsible for the performance of other people, you are operating at the strategic level. That makes you a strategic leader. First of all, every human being is a potential leader. Let's understand that. Whether you are leading 10 people, whether you are leading 45 million people, whether you are leading or even one person, you are taking decisions on behalf of other people, and therefore that makes you a strategic leader. Now, President Truman made a very, very powerful statement. He said that in periods where there is no leadership, society stands still. That's a very powerful statement. Now, progress occurs when courageous, skillful leaders seize the opportunity to change things for the better. What are your thoughts on this statement? The point we are making here is that, ladies and gentlemen, human society as it is, there can never be a human society which would exist in a vacuum. So leadership will be present at all the time, but for progress to be made, somebody must put up and provide leadership and provide direction. So what Truman meant was, in periods where there's no leadership, society stands still. It doesn't mean society does not exist. Society exists, but nobody is taking charge to provide the leadership that is required. What does that mean to us? What it means to us is that, ladies and gentlemen, wherever we find ourselves, we must constantly ask the question, who is in charge? What is the leadership that is at place in this particular area or at this particular context? Why? So that if the leadership is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, then somebody needs to be courageous enough and acquire the necessary skills and seize the opportunity to make sure that things are changed for the better. And that is the responsibility of strategic leaders. The moment you get to a point where you are able to, number one, identify that there's a problem, and you identify the necessary skills that are required, if you're able to step in, what you are doing is that you are now acquiring the skills and the qualities that leaders are supposed to have. So, why would somebody emerge as a leader in a group? The first thing that comes out is that the person has a particular personality. Okay? person must have a particular personality. Number two, the person must have particular qualities. Number three, the person must have been exposed to a context that is similar to whatever he's doing. So, for one to be able to emerge as a leader, that person must have a certain personality. Then the person must have certain qualities. And then most invariably, the person must have been based on expertise, previous experience. You get the point now? Previous experience now enables the person to say, okay, if I did this before, I can do this. And that is why most of the time, you see that in a particular situation, certain people automatically emerge. Now that comes to the statement, as you say, maybe they are born naturally like that. Now, the previous month we discussed leaders born or made. What did we say? Those of you who are here? They are made. They are born, though they are human beings, but they are also made. Born because every human being has the potential for leadership. It's a seed. It's inside of us. But made because you need to build that personality. You need to build the competence. You need to build the experience. The qualities may be lying dormant, but you must sharpen them. You must grow them. You must develop them. That is why leaders are made. Now, so the difference between the person who emerges as a leader, all that we are coming here to do, is because we are sharpening our tools. We are sharpening our skills. We are sharpening our personality. So the question is, what is leadership? What is leadership? What is your understanding of leadership? To do here, ladies and gentlemen, leadership is so key. That's why I started by asking, what is it that will make somebody emerge as a leader? When people meet, when they ask you, what do you do? What is your response? Now you realize that the responses you give, to a very large extent, changes your orientation and understanding of the role you play, whether as a leader or a boss. So what is the difference between a good leader and a leader for good? A good leader is the one that has all the qualities. A leader for good is defined by the objective you are leading the people for, the cause. You get it? What are you leading the people for? Are we together? When a leader begins to lead people just for his own selfish interests, with all the qualities that are required of a leader, that person is a good leader, but not a leader for good. Are we together? So when we say a leader for good, we are referring to in relation to the cause or the objective. Who are the beneficiaries of the objective? And that is why in Africa we may have good leaders but who are not leaders for good. Particularly when you take our political dimension. Why? Because you have people who have all the skills, all the qualities, they can influence people, they can do all the things that they need to do, but the question is, in whose interest? Are we together? Are we together? So you can be a good leader, but the question is, can you be justified to be a leader for good? And that is why leadership is the ability to inspire people, influence people towards a common objective. So it's important, ladies and gentlemen, for us to understand the difference between a good leader who has all the acumen, all the qualities, leading people, influencing them and what have you, but the overall objective for leading them is for your own selfish interest. What you are standing for is not a common good of the people. That is why Adolf Hitler, in all definition, was a good leader, but not a leader for good. Osama bin Laden was a good leader, but not a leader for good. Because as long as you can influence people to take an action that you stand for, you have the qualities of a good leader. But is your objective good for the common good of the people? This mission is for generations and generations for the good of Africa. Watch out for our next video. Africa needs you.